Hello, my name is Mackenzie Squires. Today we're going to talk about minimalism in music and go over the four major minimals over the course of the next couple of weeks. So we'll start off with defining what minimalism is, and then we'll dive into the four major figures that we'll talk about. So minimalism, while I pull up the PowerPoint, is my favorite. Oops, is my favorite era and time of minimalism. So minimalism occurred in the 20th century. So the 1900s, around the 1960s, is when it started to take off. We'll define what minimalism is in music first. Minimalism in music is that which was created by a minimum of means. And this definition was coined by Lamont Young. He was one of the founders of the minimalism movement in music. So all movements in music come behind the movements in the visual arts. So here we have The Red Circle on Black by Yiro Yashihara. And then on the left, we have Carl Andre and his minimalist works. And so as you can see, it's taking things from our environment and the minimum from our environment and creating something exciting and fun. So that's what we're going to do with music. So how did we get to minimalism? So we have composers such as John Cage, Henry Cowell, and Henry Partch, and they're working with indeterminate and chance music. And so that's where you take music and you leave it up to the performer to really make it their own and personal. My favorite is John Cage and Henry Cowell. They work together, or Henry Cowell was the teacher of John Cage. And so John Cage's ideas come from Henry Cowell. They both work with prepared piano a lot. And that's where you put things inside the piano, like a plastic fish, or you play it with your hands, or like a guitar pick, things like that. They're super weird. And then here I would play a video from John Cage's chant music, Suite for Toy Piano. Next, we get into what are the characteristics of minimalism. So some characteristics that we'll find throughout our studies: anti-chant music. So it's anti the movement of music beforehand. It has steady pulse, clear tonality, a repetition of short patterns, constant dynamic, texture with harmony, and processed music. So now that we know what it is, we'll talk about some of these features so that you can identify them in the music themselves. We're going to fast forward to like the third class and talk about Steve Reich. So in this third class, I would talk about Steve Reich. Steve Reich is my focus of my research in undergrad, and he has a large impact on the percussion industry and the new music in percussion, which is, I'm a percussionist, so this is my focus. He was born in 1936. He's still living. He's getting kind of old though. He lives in New York, and he was taught by Roland or Butch Koloff, who was the timpanist for the New York Philharmonic. He studied composition with Milhaud, Berriot, and Overton. Milhaud, Berriot, and Overton are all composers from the previous eras of composition in music. They wrote 12-tone music and chance music and atonal music. So 12-tone and atonal music just means that it's outside of the Western ear. So like Western music uses 1-4-5 or 1-2-5. They're chords that are easily identifiable and very easy to listen to. These 12-tone pieces, you're using each tone on the piano, all 12 tones, and you're creating music, and it's atonal and it's weird and it's funky. And Overton looked at Reich when he gave him a composition assignment and said, Reich, if you want to write tonal music, then write tonal music and stop wasting your time. So that's what Reich did. He took it and ran with it. And so he ran with it, and he created a bunch of pieces. It's Gonna Rain and Come Out are two of his electronic pieces. They're known as his race pieces. But the piece and activity that we would do in class would be clapping music. So we would walk through the different steps of clapping music and assign different parts and play through them. And it's really exciting. It's fun to play over Zoom because it's really easy to do, and there's not all you need are hands to clap. So that's an example of my